to understand the worthiness of God. If you're going to be a worship leader, if you're going to be a worshiper. But Job teaches us that you've got to be able to go through warfare. When you go through warfare, you understand an element in worship that you would have not understood it unless you went through something. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. I didn't understand why Job was worshiping until I understand this principle. The devil cannot do anything to you unless he gets a license and a permit from God. The devil cannot do anything to you unless he gets permission from God. Because you are God's property. Oh, if somebody would just get that. You are God's property. And the enemy, he can do all that he wants, but you've got to understand that everything you're going through has been allowed by God. Every attack, the fact that you lost your job, the challenges that you're going through in school, the challenges you're going through in your relationship, everything that you're going through, as long as you're serving God and you're in the will of God, the attack has been licensed by God. God gave Satan the permission to attack you. But here's another principle. God knows when the devil comes and says, I'm going to attack Job. God understands when the enemy comes against you. God understands. He sits down and he looks at the situation. He looks at what the enemy is going to do to you. He understands that he's your property. And he will never allow the enemy to do to you what you can't bear. And he gives the enemy permission. And he gives the enemy a permit to do it because of the principle of Romans 8 and 28. The Bible says all things work together for the good according to them that love the Lord. When God gives the enemy permission, it's because he understands the devil thinks that he's going to make something out of this situation by destroying you. But I understand that you're going to come out of this situation profiting. I know the warfare that you're going to experience. I know it's going to look like you're being lost. I know it's going to look like you're not progressing. But I want to let you know God knows that he signed the contract because he knows you're going to profit out of this situation. You're going to be wiser. You're going to be stronger. You're going to elevate. God's going to lift you up. God is going to exalt you because God understands I will never allow my property to go through something without a profit. Twice. Somebody say twice. As much as he had before. Somebody say before. All his brothers and sisters and everyone who had known him before came and ate with him in his house. They comforted and consoled him over all the troubles the Lord had brought upon him. Somebody say the Lord brought upon these troubles so that you could have double. Watch this. And each one gave him a piece of silver and gold ring. The Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the first. Somebody say he's going to bless me in the latter than the first. He had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 donkeys. And he also had 7 sons. Somebody say 7 sons. And 3 daughters. The first daughter he named Jemima, the second Keziah, and in verse 15 says, nowhere in all the lands were there found women as beautiful as Job's daughters. I'm telling you, after the Lord has allowed you to go through the warfare, and God is the one that's sending it to you, and you know that God is sending it to you because you're not stealing, you're not lying, you ain't do nothing wrong for this warfare, all of a sudden all hell is broken loose in your life. That's the indication that God sent the warfare. And if God sent the warfare and you're God's property, I'm telling you, you're going to get double for everything that you got. Go through what you're going through. Go through worshiping. Go through praising. Go through lifting your hands. Because let me tell you something, payday's coming. You might be able to criticize me. You might scandalize my name. You may not understand me. You may not know what I'm going through. It may look like my situation is dead. But I want to let you know the devil is on a leash. I know situation is not your destination. Don't ever define one moment of your life. Let me say it like this. Don't ever define one moment of your life as your entire life. And some people want to make it seem as if I'll be going through this always. But I want to let you know that God is up to something. And this is my situation, but it's not my destination. And when you understand that, you'll be able to go through your situation with another outlook. Job said, I heard that he was Jehovah Jireh, but now I've experienced him as Jehovah Jireh. He gave me everything that I lost, and he gave it back to me better. The third ingredient is we find it in Jesus. My third chef is Jesus. Jesus says, if you're going to learn about worship, you're not only going to have to understand God's worthiness and your unworthiness. You're not going to only have to understand warfare, but you have to understand not to replace the essential with the expression. Do not replace the essential with the expression. An expression is like garnishing. You know, when you have food, they put all these things around the food. They garnish the food, they decorate the food. You can eat, you can have that food without it. It's not something significant. But the essential thing is what's important. It's what you cannot do without. And anybody knows in a Caribbean house, you can't have dinner without rice. Especially in a Haitian house. If you have a dinner and you don't have rice, you ain't have a dinner. Because rice is an essential. Jesus told the Jews that I'm going to destroy the temple. And they said, no, you're not. You can't destroy this temple. They were upset, they were angry at Jesus because the temple was the place where they met with God. That was the place where they encountered the presence of God. They were so angry at Jesus because he said that he would destroy the temple. The Bible says they destroyed Jesus. They killed Jesus for the temple. They killed the God they were worshiping in the temple so that they could keep the temple. They gave away the essential for the expression.